little couple of minutes, quiet time,
Yes,
soft music. I feel relaxed now. So thanks for
there you
that.
go.
Ready to get started today. How are you
Ready to get
doing,
started.
Carla?
I'm doing great. Welcome back to school, everyone.
Yeah,
Welcome
happy first
back.
week of school.
Yes, welcome back, Epic Comets. Well, anyway, thank you so much for joining us this week for another installment of Ask Epic. We meet every week to discuss all things Epic. We want to provide our new to Epic families and returning families a place to learn about all the opportunities we have to offer, activities, and just a plethora of information so we can make sure we have a great, successful school year. I'm Carla Smitherman, and I'm from the Epic Development Team.
And I'm Ashley Brown. I'm also from the Epic Development team. So I'm really excited to be here today. Today we're going to be talking about art and music and what some of the things that we offer here at Epic. But Carla and I thought before we dive in today, we have to recognize that it's the first week of school. We've been talking about it for a while. And I mean, it's an exciting week. I've been loving reading everybody's posts on Facebook and kind of hearing about your experiences. But yeah, those of you watching today, if you started with us this week, we would love to hear more about that. So drop in the comments or in the chat box, I should say, a win you've had this week because we just want to celebrate those wins because I know leading up for the first week of school, especially if you're new, it's a little bit nerve-wracking. And so we want to hear, I'm sure you've had some wins and we would love to hear what those are. I would say my win for the week so far has been my team, Carla and I's team. We've been working on helping some families that enrolled kind of last minute for various reasons. We've been working on helping them get everything approved and enrolled and ready to start. And it's happened really quick thanks to customer service team and the enrollment department. We have been rocking and rolling behind the scenes. So that's my win. Carla, what's yours?
Wow, that was a good one, Ashley. Because that has been fun. I think it's really been fun listening to all the families and some of the different activities and how excited they are about starting school. I had a family tell me that they were on their way to Target the other day to go and grab some supplies. So I think just sharing with these families some of the exciting things that they're doing to get ready for school year. That's been my win, the exciting part of this new school year. How about you, Felicia? What are your thoughts?
We've had a really good outpour of parents at Meet the Teacher. Sometimes it's hit and miss, but like with our music and art classes, the attendance has been 50 people or more. So that is really large groups that are pouring into our instructors and with our children. They want to know what's going on and being prepared for the school year. So I'm really impressed with the turnout this week.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
that's
awesome.
awesome.
That's really great to hear. I mean, that's what I tell parents all the time. You can get as active and plugged in as you want at Epic. And so, I love to hear that we're having these active parents get involved and ready to start the school year right. That's great. It looks like Stephanie here, which hi, Stephanie. I know Stephanie, so I'm really excited you're here today. Her win for the week is that she's working to get us enrolled. Just she started today. So I love that you're on the webinar today, Stephanie. That's great. We're so excited to help you with enrollment and glad you're here today. So anybody else, as you come in, please write in the chat box, tell us your win if you can. But then as we go on through the webinar, if you have any questions or comments, drop them in the chat box so that we can address them as they come across. Let's see what else. Okay, so that's it. So Carla, I'm gonna move it over to you now.
Yeah, okay. Well, also, I just wanted to kind of mention we've been talking about tips for the school year. So I'm just going to kind of recap some of those real quick, Ashley, because I know a lot of families may just be hopping in and just maybe just now watching the recording or just hopping in, just like Stephanie has, onto the chat. So the first thing I heard from the last several weeks is communicate, communicate, communicate with your teacher. That was one of the highlights that some of the families talked to us about, or some of the teachers mentioned. And the second one was, I recall, have patience. So, Stephanie, you want to have patience as soon as you get started with Epic. You have technology that you have to consider, and all these other things that may go wrong, or may have something that needs a little help with every now and then. So, just have patience with yourself and technology. So I think that's about all of them. Can you think of anything else, Ashley? Those are the major two. I remember patience was one, communication was the other one that everyone seemed to stress with us. So if you can keep mindful of those two things, Stephanie, I think you're going to be winner. So, okay. Now I'm really excited to talk about the programs. We are joined by Miss Felicia Harrell. Felicia, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us your role at Epic?
Hello, everyone. Like Carla said, my name is Felicia Harrell. I am the Director of Advanced Courses. I oversee AP, pre-AP, and then we're adding in those elective type credits like music, art, choir, and every year we are expanding even more. But we're really, really excited about the interest in music and art. It has grown tremendously. That is why we sought to look for other electives, and art was one of them. It's brand new this year, so I'm excited to talk about them.
Very good. Well, we are excited to have you here to talk about it. I know that I've heard and been communicated with me that there are just so many studies that discuss the importance and the value to children of art and music and how it helps develop critical thinking skills and just helps. It's just really good for your mental health in general. Would you like to add to that and give us some your input on that? What your thoughts are?
Yes, yes. I honestly love talking about that. A lot of people don't see it from that viewpoint, that it is tremendous on the cognitive abilities. We really don't recognize that part of it. It's not just music, it's not just art. It works with fine motor skills. So if your kids are not involved in those type of electives, that's big on your fine motor skills, decision making, mental health, academic performance. Math and reading is mixed in music and art. It's not just drawing, it's not just playing something on the piano. They all have those academic cores involved in them. And if you add that on top of their core that they're already learning, it's just expanding their mind even more. Because we have different areas in the brain that work for different subjects. Okay, that's the best way to say it. And then if you layer that with stuff like music and art and theater, it just broadens and expands the way that you think and the way that the brain fires off receptors for learning. So it's incredible to student performance, I think.
That's awesome. That is wonderful. I know that I've been hearing that for so many years and so many studies that have been done. So we're just happy to hear that Epic is adding this to our many wonderful other activities that we have.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think too, it's really, I can't imagine it must be tricky to make this happen in an online environment. So I just have to say kudos to you guys for being able to find a way to facilitate it because I'm sure it's not easy. And so I think it's really great that despite those hurdles of how to make it work in an online environment, we've done it and it's growing, like you've said. So I think that's great. Like you said earlier, Felicia, I know you mentioned that we've had a ton of interest from families about these programs and expanding these programs. So I did want to mention that for this year, for this semester, our art and music programs are full for this year. So I just want to kind of preface that and say that. So what we're going to kind of talk about today is a little bit about when signups are and where to look out for them, and maybe talk about too, like why it's important to vocalize your interest in these programs because as we know that more families want to participate, the more we can grow it, right? So I think that's something that'll be important for us to touch on today as well.
Yeah, that's very good. So why don't we go ahead and get started talking about the music program and how that works at Epic? Go ahead and let us know what tell us about the music program and just give us a general overview of that program.
So this is year 3 for the music program, and I will say that we have changed a little bit every single year. The first year that it was launched, we had thousands of entries. I mean, it was brand new, no one knew what to expect. We offer lessons for piano, guitar, and drums, okay, and they are leveled. Now, the level is a little bit tricky because the instructor has to be able to listen to you. You know, we may say that you're on level 1, somebody else may say that you're on level 4. So there is a little bit of a learning curve right there to it. Right now, we place everyone in level 1, okay, until you have been worked with for a couple of weeks and we know, no, they are more advanced, they need to be moved to a level 3. So I do get that question a lot from parents. They say, well, my child's more advanced. For beginning stages, initial placement, everyone's level 1 until we move forward. But the first year we introduced the music program, you actually only had a 5 to 10 minute lesson because we were trying to serve as many students as possible. And that is still our goal. We want to serve as many students, but that quality has to come first. So the students that are in the music program right now, they get 20-minute sessions. And honestly, we've done some research. That is about the amount of time that you would practice with an outside private tutor or lesson. They're 20-30 minutes is about the max time for a younger adult. So that's where we kind of got those numbers. And we are really looking forward to a successful 20-minute session with these students. Our music instructors serve about 70 students a piece. So Monday through Thursday, they work with 70 different students. All of the lessons are individualized. Now we do have a music book that goes with each section, and that needs to be ordered through the Learning Fund with your primary teacher or the parent. So we have that specific music book, and then they just work with the instructor on their level. So you're going to have some students that are higher up or, you know, a higher level, and then some that really need that beginning or intermediate stage and need to go at a slower pace. One of the other questions I get a lot about is instruments. It is the responsibility of the parent to purchase the instrument. We cannot purchase that through Epic. You cannot use your learning fund for an instrument. So that is very important when you have interest in this program. You have to be able to purchase that piano, drum, or guitar. If you ever need help with those instruments, our instructors are here to help you purchase those. Like if you have like certain recommendations, certain places that you need to go see them. And then I'm trying to think, there's so many different layers that I could tell you. I hate to just go on a tangent about it. Our high school music courses, you get a 0.5 fine arts credit because you have to have a fine art credit in high school. So you will earn that, you know, if you pass the class. You have a requirement of live weekly sessions to be in the music program. You don't just sign up and you practice on your own. It doesn't work like that. You have to attend the 20-minute weekly session. That is a requirement to be a part of this program.
Okay, that's very exciting that they get credit for participation in that. Very good. Okay, you were going to say something else.
And well, I can talk about choir because that's the other side of the music program, and that is brand new this year. And I have really been shocked at how many people were excited about the choir program. The choir program is a little bit different. It is a hybrid program. So anyone that is part of the choir, there's traveling involved. They will actually have to travel to Epic events and to practice at one of the locations. So it's not 100% virtual. That's very hard to pull off in a virtual setting. So we've had to make it hybrid. They will meet with their instructor once a week, and it'll actually be individualized for this first semester, like they're working on their tone and their pitch and their voices and stuff. And then every second Monday of the month, they will come together as a group and put all of it together. And then in December, we'll have our first Epic event that we sing at. And then hopefully at the graduations as well. We have multiple graduations, so I can't just say this is the one that we'll be at. So that group of students, which is about 40, will be performing for our Epic family.
That's awesome. I have a question for you. Just thinking, I guess this is relevant for, and maybe you said this, so I apologize if you did. But for choir and for the music classes, what grades are eligible to participate?
I'm so glad you said that, Ashley. I kind of did skip over that. So music for your regular instruments, piano, guitar, and drums, that is 5th through 12th grade. I would love to be able to go into lower grades, but we're just not set up for that yet. But I do foresee it happening in the future. And then choir is 6th through 12th grade, and they also earn that 0.5 fine art credit for participating in it.
That's awesome. We have a question now from through Ask Epic, and they're asking us, do we have a traditional concert band with Epic?
No, that has been a very big discussion for several years. We have not figured out how to handle the size of a band and all the instruments that go in place with that. And to really pull off a band with the different types of instruments, like what you would see in a brick and mortar, we need a room to do that. We need a place to house the instruments. It's been very tough to try and piece that together, but it is something on our radar, and we are looking for suggestions from other like music conductors and band directors to figure out how can we pull this off virtually. So it's on our radar. We just haven't figured it out yet.
Oh, I bet that, like I said, I bet that is a logistical like feat. I mean, even just the music classes and the choir. So yes, absolutely. That's a great question though. I would love to see an epic band, Comet band. I was gonna also ask, what kind of a time commitment should students expect, like if they're participating in the music classes, or even I guess choir as well?
So our instructors recommend that you practice 30 minutes a day. So, and I would say at least 5 days a week. Just, I mean, your placement with your fingers and everything, and drums would be a tad bit different, but you have to be immersed in what you're doing to truly grow in it. And if you're only doing it the 20 minutes when you meet with the instructor, you're not going to get much out of it.
That
Yeah.
that brings back memories when I was young, I did piano lessons, and as I got older, I would maybe try to get out of practice, and my teacher would say, "I can tell you didn't play since last week." I'd be like, "Oh."
Yes,
So
absolutely.
Instructors will tell you that, like, I don't know that you practiced.
Yep, it's bringing back some memories for me.
Memories, I know. We have a
Okay.
question.
Oh yeah, sorry. I was gonna say that we have a question from Ronnie. Thank you, Ronnie, for your question. They're asking, can we order a music book so that they can practice? So I'm thinking, Ronnie, we may have a follow-up question for you. Are you talking just on your own? Like if you're not in the music program, are you asking if you could order a music book? I'm thinking that's what he's asking. We'll see what he says there. But I would say yes through the Learning Fund. Carla, what do you think? I'm
Yeah,
sure
I
that
think
they could.
I think that I mean, and those things have to be approved, of course. But Felicia, what are your thoughts on that? Obviously, it has to be educational for it to be approved through the Learning Fund. I'd love to hear your input on that, Felicia.
You will have to have approval through the Learning Fund with what you're trying to purchase. And I mean, there's millions of different books out there. I can't speak to that specifically, but I will tell you, our instructors find most of their stuff on Amazon. Amazon's just the easiest, but you can type in like beginning level practice music books, and most of them will get you some pretty good results. We try to stick with Amazon because it is the easiest for our families. You can email me on the side and I can send you the links that we use. There are different levels depending on which level your child needs for the music program. But I can provide a little bit of recommendation on which ones that we use specifically.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I will put your email in the chat box. And Ashley, if you want to continue asking Felicia
Yes.
questions, I can put that in here for him.
Sure. Yes. Let's see here. What else do I have? So we said we've talked about meetings. Those happen virtually, except for choir. They do a hybrid model. We've talked about the time commitment. And then, okay, so I guess what do you say? What would you say? Are there any sort of like in the music program, are there any sort of, because I know once they get to high school, this counts as their fine arts credit. So are they having tests and things like that in this class?
No, we really do it more like a private music lesson. That's how we have found that it's most successful. We have tried to do more group practices, but it is so hard with the lag on Zoom. If everyone's internet is not matched up, the it's just so difficult to do that interaction right there. Um, so I I give the instructors a lot of autonomy because every student is different. They're learning differently. So some assignments may look different for this student over here based on what they're able to do compared to this one who's at a beginning level. We have been creating recitals. Some of them are online recitals where the student gets a chance to play in front of everyone virtually. But we also hosted our first in-person recital in Oklahoma City last year, and we had about 20 to 25 kids participate. So on a big stage in front of all their family and friends, it was a really big success, but it was hard to pull off because you only see these kids virtually. So then you get in front of them in person for the first time, and you've got to piece together all of this music. And of course, they got a grade for that, but it's optional at the same time. We don't hold anyone to the fire for that. So those things are optional. So that's not a very good answer, I would say, because every student is different,
Mhm.
and that's how we do our grading as well.
Well, but that's such an epic answer because at the end of the day, we have to individualize for what works for each person. So it's not a bad answer. It's like it's
Yeah,
just the truth. And that's good. That's us doing a service for our students. So I think that's great. And I did not know about the recital, so that's really neat. I had not heard that.
I
Um, do,
hadn't either. I was gonna say that's awesome. That's wonderful.
yeah, absolutely. So if you
Yeah.
have more questions about our music program or the choir program, please drop them in the chat box. But if there aren't any more questions about that, I think, Carla, what should we move on to the art program?
Art, yes, this is exciting for me. I think we all have had our experiences with art. I know Ashley and Felicia, I still have a piece of art that I did in the sixth grade that is on my fireplace. I have kept it all those years because it's pretty sentimental to me. I really liked my art teacher. So Felicia, give us a background and tell us a little bit about what the art program looks like that you all have developed.
And I'll give you a little bit of background knowledge. Last year, while I was putting together the recital for music, I just kept thinking, why do we not have art? We could be doing art shows. I mean, all of these different things for our art-based students. Because we have AP art. So I was in it a little bit, but not full blown in the mix of art, is what you would say. So I had asked if we could start an art program. I didn't know what it was going to look like. I just knew that we needed one and we needed to offer it to our Epic families. Um, and of course, by surprise, we had thousands of responses, um, more so than music. It was just a higher interest. So that's kind of where it stemmed from. And the art program, the way it will operate is it will be group sessions. Okay, so you will actually be interacting with other kids. It is Oklahoma state standard aligned. We're not just off on some little tangent over here with what we think art should be like. So we're actually aligning it to our state standards. But the art teacher, who by the way is incredible, I'm really excited about her. She is big on cross curricular activities, so she adds in the environment, science, math. It is not just, hey, draw me a picture of a flower. It's not like that with her. She sees art through different lenses. And I think that's how our kids see art too. Because I will tell you from experience, when I had to do art, like he told us, draw some squares and stuff on this page. Like that's what I had to stick to. And I didn't find joy in it. And she is really trying to recreate a different picture of what art is going to look like. Um, so we'll have a class of 15 students. She will teach Monday through Thursday at different time slots, in a group of 15. And then, of course, if you need individual help on something else, she is there to serve you, of course. But we'll have these group sessions. It'll be kind of some critiquing and going over your artwork, maybe, hey, look at this. Do you see something that maybe you should have changed? Do you like this color? Because we need to analyze what we're doing. That's a part of growing too. So that's a big part of the art program that we think is very important this year, not just doodling. I get a lot of questions about that, like what are we actually going to do? Every semester we will have larger projects that is part of the grading piece. So you have to come to the weekly live sessions, which are about 45 minutes to an hour. And then you will have to be working on these projects throughout the weeks. Some projects will only be 1 week. Some projects may take several weeks. Okay. So it all depends on the student, how much they're getting done, how big the project is. And all of your art classes, art 1, 2, and 3, are worth a fine art credit as well.
Okay, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
I was just going to jump in and ask what grades are eligible to participate, but go ahead and finish some of the other thoughts that you had as well.
Art is for 6th through 12th grade this year. I do have plans to expand. I've had a lot of parents reach out because they want elementary art. So that is also on my radar, but you know, we're testing the waters with our upper because they get the fine art credit, of course. And when we add instructors, we want to make sure the right instructor is teaching the right section. And this instructor, of course, she was more middle school, high school based.
Okay.
That's the direction we're going for that.
All right, very good. You were going to finish your thought on something else. I think I interrupted you when I asked that question.
Maybe, but I lost it, Carla. So
Okay. Don't worry about it. It's okay. It's okay. Well, tell us about the meeting. You kind of mentioned about the small groups. Do you have any specific times per week or anything else? Is that set in stone, or does it vary based on each group size? How does that work?
So how we do times, the music and art instructors come up with their schedule. Okay, they have to have that done in May. Like I have to know what times they plan on teaching because that is imperative to our sign up process. So what we do in late May, early June is we send out an interest form. Okay. Anyone that is interested in music or art, they have to use that initial form. That tells me I'm interested in exactly what you're interested in. Can't have a broad idea of what you're interested in because there's so many different sections. It would take forever to go through that. So you do have to have some kind of decision made. And then the next process is you get another link and it's where you actually select your days and times. So if you want guitar, you get in there and you try to find guitar Tuesday at 11 a.m. Okay. But with that, all of our programs are first come, first serve. Okay. We cannot serve thousands and thousands of students right now. We only have so many seats available. So once you get that link, you've got to get on it and try and get your time selected. And then once all the spots are taken, it's closed out. And then everyone's moved to a wait list. And that is unfortunate. It breaks my heart when I have to turn somebody down, but that's just what we're faced with right now until we can continue to grow and add more instructors at Epic. But so for art specifically, her schedule for her teaching times for actual group sessions is Monday through Thursday at 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. So that's her block. That's when she wanted to do all of her heavy instructing. And then the rest of it is like grading and communication or individual sessions.
Okay, that's wonderful. Does she have time for sessions that she can see the students on kind of a one-on-one case if need be or something like that? Do you know about that? If I have a problem or question.
So all of the teachers, music and art and our AP teachers as well, they all have office hours built into their schedule. So they are there if a parent or student needs them for something outside of their actual scheduled time. And that's just so we can serve the families as best as possible. Because we know sometimes you just want to hop on real quick and ask a question and not mess with email. We understand that, and that's why those times are built in. And if you are enrolled in one of our sections, we are doing Meet the Teacher this week and next week, and they go over all of that information with you.
That's wonderful. That's great. Sounds like you have covered all your bases.
I hope, I really hope, but I'm always up for feedback. If anyone
Okay,
finds a hole, I do want to know so we can improve.
that's awesome. You mentioned some of the projects or some of the being, co-curricular and other things. Are there any other projects in the art program that you can mention with us right now?
So with art, we are planning on doing some art shows and art exhibitions and stuff like that. And my plan is not to just limit that to the students that are enrolled in the art program. I think we have other students out there that are talented, and we want to showcase them as well, not just who was able to get a seat. I feel very passionate about that when we open the art show, it is open to all families and students. So hopefully communication will be sent out about that sometime soon. It probably will not be a fall project, probably closer to winter or spring for those art shows to be announced. But yes, I do foresee that as something coming up really soon for our families.
I think that's great that you want to include other students because, yeah, there's definitely a lot of talented students at Epic that I'm sure would love a chance to be included in that. And I'm going to assume you said communication will come out eventually about how to sign up. I just like to always let everybody know. I'm going to assume that will be over email. Is that the best way to find that? Okay.
Yes, and something else I want to preface, it's very important that families are watching those emails. We try to narrow down how we communicate, and how we communicate is to the guardian email that is on file in PowerSchool. And the reason for that is because our programs require monetary stuff. Okay, you have to have art supplies. You have to have a very expensive instrument. I say very expensive. You can go to a pawn shop and that's perfectly fine too. But we don't want just a kid in sixth grade signing up saying they want to do this, but they don't understand on the other side. They have to buy a piano, a keyboard. So that is why our communication with the parents always comes firsthand. And even in high school, we have high school students that they can speak for themselves, but still there is money involved, and we want to make sure we are communicating with the guardian. So
That
that's
makes
been
sense.
it's been very important this year, whether everyone likes it or not. That's beside the point. We just want to make sure everyone is safe and they understand that those are things in place in the program.
Yeah, that sounds good. I mean, that it's a commitment, in other words, from everybody involved. So you want the parent involved, you want the student involved, and there's a commitment there's a requirement for
Yes.
everybody involved to go and grab that flute or or guitar to make sure that happens to support that music lesson. So that makes a lot of sense to me. So thank you for telling us that. And there's also a definite requirement to look at your email in Epic anyway, right? We have found that families really truly do need to watch those emails. We have so much information that goes out from via email. So can you think of anything else, Ashley, that we need to ask Felicia right now? I know that one area that Ashley and I have talked about is that we are very aware that we have such an abundance of interest in your art and music program. But there is another option out there that you have mentioned to me, Felicia, that is available to families that they can participate in music and art. And I'll let you share what that is so that they can still have some kind of a participation. And so I'll let you describe that and we'll go from there.
On our website, the Epic website, you have the vendor directory. It's just our vendor list. And our vendor list are people that have contracts with Epic where they offer their services. So a lot of them are piano teachers, guitar teachers, tutors for math, reading. I mean, an abundance of different types of activities or tutors for your child. And they do come at a cost, but you can use your learning fund. So if you didn't get into the music or art program, there may be somebody on the vendor list within your area because it's geographically. So if you're in the Tulsa area, you're going to plug that information in there and it'll give you a list of people around you that could service you if you really want piano lessons. And another thing that I really like about the vendor list, a lot of it is in person. So our stuff is virtual, and if you have the option for in person, that is even better. I mean, I love that. I would want that for my child. I mean, to be able to go in person with somebody and get hands-on instruction with those instruments, the it's such a deeper level of meaning.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point. And that's something that, yeah, Carl and I were talking about earlier is, it is a bummer if you didn't make it in for this year for the art and music. And, but I mean, like you said, we almost have an even better option out there. And so I would say anybody that's watching today, I don't know, but if you have ever used a vendor for any art or music type of program that you've loved, we would love for you to share that information with us. Put it in the chat box. If you've got a vendor you've used before for whatever it is, let us know. Because especially for our new to Epic families, there is a lot to learn, and the vendor directory can be a little bit intimidating. But it's been revamped this year, and I think it's a lot more simple to navigate. So, it's nice that we still have that option for families. You're not left high and dry. You've got plenty of options with our vendor directory. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. Let me see if I feel like we've covered just about everything. Any final questions from our audience, please drop them in the chat box. We'd love to get those addressed. But yeah, Carla, anything else for you?
Well, I just was going to suggest to families that as you are going through and vetting the vendor list, make sure you ask other families if they have any suggestions. Ask your teacher. They know the area. They know Oklahoma City or Tulsa or wherever you live. They know the best guitar contact that's a vendor. They've heard of the best pianist or musician. So they know of the art person, the art studio that you might want to put your student in. So just ask around. That's what one of my recommendations would be as you are looking at that vendor list, because I promise you, someone else has utilized a vendor before and they know what's out there and some of the best ones out there. And really, I can share with you all, I have had excellent success with families and their participation with vendors, from piano lessons to singing lessons to art. They really have had some great experiences with those vendors. So just wanted to give that comment.
Sorry, could not find my mute button. There it is. So yeah, so thank you guys. I want to say thank you, Felicia, for joining us today. I know it's like the first week of school. Everybody's really busy this week, so we appreciate you coming on and giving us kind of your information and your insight into what is available for our families, even though it's a busy time. So thank you so much. And yeah, just for all of you watching today, if you joined late, we always put the recordings up on our Epic website. If you go to the Epic website and you click About, and then you click FAQ, all of our recordings are on there. Oh, wait 1 second. I see a
Good
question.
question.
Good, great timing, Nana.
Yeah.
Will there be a video each week that school is in session? I'd like to add to my calendar if so. Well,
Yes.
that is the plan. Yes. Each Wednesday at 2, we're going to have our Ask Epic video. So, yes, please add us to your calendar and hang out with us every Wednesday. And like I was just saying, if ever you can't catch it live, we do post all the recordings, and they're usually labeled with or they are labeled with what the topic was. So you can kind of pick and choose what's interesting to you. So
Yes.
yeah, if you have any questions about anything we've discussed today, or anything that maybe we didn't discuss, but you just need some further information before you can decide on enrolling at Epic, that's Carla and myself. Like, reach out to us. Our email, I've put it in the chat box, but it's edt@epiccharterschools.org. We would love to hear from you and get one of our specialists to help you out, answer your questions. If you haven't enrolled yet, let us help you with
Give it
that.
time.
And now is the time. We are working our tails
Yeah.
off, and we are really,
Yes.
really having
Give it
some
time.
good success there. So we'd love to help
Yeah.
you. So yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say there's so many wonderful options out there for our families. And as you all have opportunity, express your interest out there. Let us know, what is it that you want for your student. That's how we know. Felicia's group basically expanded because you expressed interest. So continually let us know what you want, what your interests are, and especially in this wonderful music and art area. I want to see this area grow. I just have this vision, Felicia, of a gospel choir one day. Or any kind of choir or this amazing band. I can see it. So I love for all of our families to give us their input and let us know what you are interested in. Let us know what type of area, art, music, that makes your boat float. We know what we like, but what do you like? So this is what is going to help us expand. This is going to help us grow, and this will help us continue to add on to programs to make them even better and better and better serve our families. So that's basically what I wanted to say today. Excited about the future, Felicia. I'm really thankful for you for joining us today. Thank you so much for what you're doing, the hard work you've done to bring these programs to Epic. You and your the art program, the music program, obviously has had outstanding interest, and I just assume it's going to grow and grow more. And again, I can see a band in the background one day, however it works out for us. Again, much luck to you and your team. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you all so much.
All
Awesome. Well,
right.
thank you everybody for joining in. We're going to be here next week. We're going to be talking about some more clubs and programs that we offer. So we already talked about a few weeks ago, and we've got round 2 coming up next week. And Carla and I are really excited about what we're going to be talking about. So come back for that. And again, if you ever have questions about Epic or enrollment or what we offer, reach out to our team, EDT. We're happy to help you. So thank you so much for being here, and come back
Thank you
next
all.
time. Bye.
See you later. Bye bye.